In the bustling city of Lagos, where life seemed never to slow down, there lived a woman named Oliver. She was a striking figure. Her beauty made her more noticeable by the charming gap between her teeth and her long, elegant face. Her presence commanded attention, not just because of her looks but also due to her immense wealth and influence. Oliver was a woman of great success, owning a large company that employed many people and provided a comfortable life for her and her younger sister, Amaka. Amaka was Oliver's closest confidant, the one who knew her sister's heartbeats better than anyone else. They shared a deep bond, one that had been forged through years of supporting each other through life challenges. Amaka often admired her sister's strength and determination, but she also worried about Oliver's habit of eating excessively. Despite her success, Oliver struggled with her weight, a fact that had driven away many men who could not see past her size to the incredible person she was. One evening, after a long day at work, Oliver sat in her lavish living room, her mind weighed down by thoughts of the men who had come and gone in her life. Amaka noticed her sister's pensive mood and gently approached her. "Oliver, you work too hard," Amaka said softly, her eyes filled with concern. "You need to take care of yourself. You've been so focused on your business that you've forgotten about your own well-being." Oliver sighed deeply, her gaze fixed on the floor. "I know, Amaka, but the work is all I have. It keeps me going, especially when I feel so alone." Amaka moved closer, placing a comforting hand on her sister's shoulder. "Oliver, you're not alone. You have me, and I believe that the right man will come into your life. Someone who will love you for who you are, not for what you have." Oliver forced a small smile, grateful for her sister's words, but finding it hard to believe them. "I hope you're right, Amaka, but it's hard to keep hoping when all I've known is disappointment." The days passed, and Oliver continued to pour herself into her work, using it as a distraction from the loneliness that gnawed at her heart. She was a respected boss, admired by her employees for her dedication and leadership. Yet, beneath the surface of her success, there was a woman longing for love and acceptance. One day, fate introduced her to a man named Jude. He was tall, handsome, and exuded a charm that was hard to resist. With his pointed nose and easy smile, Jude seemed like the perfect gentleman. He presented himself as a wealthy businessman with a thriving fashion store, and Oliver found herself drawn to him. They began spending more time together, and Oliver quickly fell for him, believing that she had finally found someone who saw her for who she was. Amaka, ever protective of her sister, voiced her concerns. "Oliver, I don't trust Jude. It seems too good to be true," she warned one evening as they sat together. But Oliver dismissed her sister's worries with a wave of her hand. "You're just being overly cautious, Amaka. Jude is different from the others. He doesn't ask for my money and he treats me well. I think I'm finally falling in love." Despite her sister's skepticism, Oliver continued her relationship with Jude, reveling in the attention and affection he showered upon her. He bought her gifts, surprised her with thoughtful gestures, and made her feel cherished in a way she had never experienced before. Months passed, and their relationship deepened. Jude proposed marriage, and Oliver, overjoyed at the prospect of a life with him, eagerly accepted. Their wedding was a grand affair, attended by many, and Oliver felt as if she were living in a dream. But dreams can sometimes turn into nightmares, and soon the reality of her situation began to unravel. It started softly, with Jude making small demands that gradually grew in scope. "Now that we are married, we should make everything official," he suggested one evening, his tone smooth and persuasive. "You should change all your documents to my name. We are one family now, after all." Oliver hesitated, unsure of the wisdom of such a move. But her love for Jude clouded her judgment, and she trusted him completely. "All right, Jude," she finally agreed. "I'll do it." In a decision that would later haunt her, Oliver transferred her properties and her business into Jude's name, believing that she was merely solidifying their union. Jude seemed elated by this gesture, thanking her and showering her with affection. However, as time went on, Jude's behavior began to change. He became increasingly distant, his temper flaming at the slightest provocation. He criticized Oliver's every move, finding fault in everything she did. The man who once seemed so loving and attentive was now cold and harsh, and Oliver found herself walking on eggshells trying to avoid his wrath. One night, Jude came home late. Oliver, worried and confused, asked him where he had been. "I am the man of this house," Jude snapped, his voice dripping with contempt. "You have no right to question me. You're lucky I even married you considering how you look." Oliver was devastated by his words. The sting of his insult cut deep into her soul. She had always been aware of her weight, but hearing Jude mock her for it was unbearable. She began to feel trapped in a marriage that was suffocating her. Yet she was too afraid to leave, fearing the loss of everything she had worked so hard for. As the days turned into weeks, Jude's behavior only worsened. He started bringing other women into their home, flaunting his infidelity in front of Oliver without a care for her feelings. He belittled her, called her names, and reduced her to tears on a daily basis. Oliver's once vibrant spirit was being crushed under the weight of Jude's cruelty, and she felt utterly hopeless. Oliver began to realize that the man she had fallen in love with was nothing more than a fake. The caring, loving Jude she thought she knew had been replaced by a monster who seemed to take pleasure in her misery. Yet, despite the pain, Oliver clung to the hope that things would change. She convinced herself that Jude was just going through a phase, that the man she had married would return if she was patient enough. But Jude had no intention of changing. With her properties and business now under his name, he felt unshakable. He treated Oliver as if she were a mere obstacle in his life, someone to be discarded when she no longer served his purpose. He spent her money recklessly, hosting lavish parties and indulging in all manner of excesses, while Oliver watched helplessly from the sidelines. Amaka, witnessing her sister's suffering, couldn't stay silent any longer. "Oliver, you have to leave him," she pleaded one evening after Jude had stormed out of the house. "This isn't love, it's abuse. You're losing yourself and I can't bear to see you like this." Tears welled up in Oliver's eyes as she looked at her sister. "I don't know what to do, Amaka. He has everything. If I leave, I'll be left with nothing. All my hard work, everything I built, it's all in his name now." Amaka took her sister's hands in hers, her voice firm and resolute. "Material things can be replaced, Oliver, but your happiness, your peace of mind, that is priceless. You have to get out before it's too late." Oliver knew her sister was right, but the fear of starting over, the fear of losing everything, got her paralyzed. She felt trapped in a web of her own making, unable to see a way out. Every day, she prayed for a miracle, for some sign that would guide her out of the darkness that had enveloped her life. Then, one fateful day, everything came crashing down. Oliver received a letter from the bank notifying her that her company was in financial ruin. Jude had drained their accounts, taking out loans in her name and leaving the business on the brink of collapse. Panic gripped her as she rushed to confront Jude, but he was nowhere to be found. Desperate, Oliver began searching for answers, only to discover that Jude had vanished, leaving behind nothing but a trail of debt and broken promises. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks. She had been played. Jude had never loved her. He had only been after her wealth, and now he had taken everything from her. In the aftermath of Jude's betrayal, Oliver's life spiraled out of control. She lost her business, her home, and everything she had worked so hard to build. Her reputation was tarnished, and she found herself rejected by the very people who had once admired her. The once powerful and influential Oliver was now a shadow of her former self, broken and defeated. But Amaka refused to let her sister down in despair. She stood by Oliver's side, offering her unwavering support and reminding her that she was still a strong, capable woman. "You've been through hell, Oliver," Amaka said one evening as they sat together in their small rented apartment. "But this isn't the end. You have the power to rebuild your life, to rise from the ashes like a phoenix." Oliver looked at her sister, her heart heavy with sorrow but also with a glimmer of hope. "I don't know if I can, Amaka. I have lost so much. I don't even know where to start." "You start by believing in yourself again," Amaka replied, her voice filled with conviction. "You didn't get up to where you were by giving up. You fought for everything you had, and you can do it again. But this time, you do it for yourself, not for anyone else." With Amaka's encouragement, Oliver slowly began to pick up the pieces of her shattered life. It wasn't easy, and there were days when she felt like giving up, but she refused to let Jude's betrayal define her. She started from scratch, using the skills and knowledge she had acquired over the years to rebuild her career. It was a long, arduous journey, but with each step forward, Oliver felt a renewed sense of strength and purpose. Years passed, and Oliver emerged from the darkness stronger than ever. She had learned valuable lessons from her experiences, lessons that had shaped her into a wiser, more resilient woman. She no longer sought validation from others, nor did she measure her worth by her wealth or the opinions of those around her. Instead, she found fulfillment in living a life of integrity and authenticity, surrounded by the love and support of her sister and the few true friends who stood by her. One day, as Oliver and Amaka sat together, reflecting on the journey they had taken, Amaka smiled at her sister with pride. "You've come so far, Oliver. I am so proud of you." Oliver returned the smile, her heart filled with gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you, Amaka. You were my rock, my guiding light in the darkest of times. And you were the one who found the strength within yourself to keep going," Amaka replied, her eyes shining with tears. "You show me what true resilience looks like." As time went on, Oliver's life began to take a new shape. She started a small business from her home, offering consultancy services to aspiring entrepreneurs. Drawing from her own experiences, she provided guidance and support to those who were just starting out, helping them avoid the pitfalls she had once fallen into. Her reputation as a knowledgeable and empathetic mentor grew, and soon her small business blossomed into a thriving enterprise. The challenges Oliver faced in rebuilding her life were many, but she tackled each one with the determination and resilience she had gained through her struggles. She learned to be cautious, to trust her instincts, and most importantly, to value herself above all else. The scars from her past were still there, but they no longer defined her. Instead, they served as reminders of her strength and the lessons she had learned along the way. Amaka remained by Oliver's side through it all, offering her unwavering support and encouragement. Their bond as sisters grew even stronger, forged in the fire of adversity. They had both been through so much, but they had come out the other side closer than ever, with a deep appreciation for each other's strength and resilience. One evening, as Oliver and Amaka sat on the porch of their modest home, sipping tea and watching the sunset, Oliver turned to her sister with a thoughtful expression. Amaka, I've been thinking a lot about everything that has happened, about Jude, about losing everything, and about how far I've come since then." Amaka nodded, waiting for her sister to continue. "I've realized that what I went through, as painful as it was, had made me stronger. It has taught me to be more careful, more discerning. But it also taught me that I don't need to rely on anyone else for my happiness or success. I have everything I need within me." Amaka smiled, her eyes filled with pride. "That's a powerful realization, Oliver. And it's true, you've always had that strength within you, even when you didn't see it yourself." Oliver took a deep breath, feeling a sense of peace wash over her. "I think it's time for me to forgive myself, Amaka, for trusting the wrong person, for losing everything, for all of it. I can't keep carrying this burden with me. It's time to let go and move forward." Amaka reached over and took her sister's hands, squeezing it gently. "You deserve that, Oliver. You deserve to be free from the past and to embrace the future with open arms." With those words, Oliver felt a weight lift from her shoulders. She had been carrying the burden of guilt and regret for so long, but now she was ready to let it go. She had survived the worst and she had emerged stronger for it. There was no need to hold on to the pain any longer. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Oliver smiled, feeling a sense of closure. She knew that her journey was far from over, but she was ready to face whatever the future held with courage and grace. She had learned to trust herself, to value her worth, and to live a life of integrity and purpose. And most importantly, she had learned to love herself.